So welcome everyone. We'll start seated. Finding a comfortable seat. Letting the soles of your feet rest down on the ground. And letting the bones of your bum feel balanced in the chair. It might feel good to sway a little bit from side to side or front to back. Starting to settle into the seat. Then once you start to feel a little bit settled, finding that center, pausing, finding a little stillness. As you take a few breaths just to arrive to practice today, you might imagine that the crown of the head is lifting, almost as though you were stretching your spine. The shoulders might melt down. The hands can rest wherever they feel good, palms up or palms down. Noticing how it feels to breathe in this moment at the start of practice. How would it feel to soften the belly here, allowing your breath to travel a little more deeply? And start to bring some equality to the inhale and exhale. See if you can bring them to be the same length. And then once the inhale and exhale are more or less even, start to bring some awareness to the pause between each turnaround of the breath. Can you extend that pause even a tiny amount, just a moment more? And letting go of the control of your breath, allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. We'll start moving into the head and neck a little bit. When your next exhale arrives, let's tip the chin down towards the chest. Pausing here, breathing space into the back of the neck. And letting it be a gentle twist or a gentle stretch. When your next inhale arrives, let's lift the gaze, tipping the chin up towards the sky. Pausing here for a moment, also not letting it be your deepest lift. Let the back of the neck remain as long as possible, even while stretching into the throat a little bit. Then when the next exhale arrives, tipping the chin back down towards the chest. And with the inhale, lifting the head, moving with your breath now. Exhaling to lower and inhaling to lift. When you feel both directions have been done evenly, making your way back to center. Pausing for a moment once you arrive, noticing sensation. And then we'll turn the head over the shoulder. So with an exhale, turning to one side. Inhaling back to center when you're ready. And exhaling to the other side. Continuing to move in this way. Following the pattern of your body, your rhythm of breath. And the next time you feel you've done both directions evenly, making your way back to center slowly. Once you arrive back in center, noticing sensations, giving yourself a few moments, a few breaths, just to notice what's happening in the body. Let's draw some figure eights in the air with the nose just to get the neck moving in a different way this morning. So imagining you've got something on the tip of the nose to draw with. And then starting to draw figure eights. These can be as big or small as feels good this morning. Noticing the sounds as you move. And then let's switch directions of the figure eight. And then making your way eventually back to center as you're ready. Giving yourself that pause, noticing sensation. And then let's move down into the shoulders. Let's stretch the arms out wide. And starting off with very small circles. And gradually letting the circles get a little bit bigger. As the circles get bigger, the arms get a little closer to your body. So taking this as wide and as big as feels okay for the shoulders. We're not looking for any pain. We're just looking to explore the range of motion available in your shoulders this morning. And let's bring the arms back into small circles. Making your way back to the starting point. And then we'll do circles in the other direction. Again, starting small. Gradually letting the circles get as big as feels comfortable in your body. No pain in the shoulder. Just exploring range of motion. One shoulder could be quite different than the other as well. So if it feels better to do one at a time, that might feel good. Alternating between sides. And then bringing the circles smaller again. Gradually coming back to the starting point. And then releasing the hands back to your lap. Giving yourself a moment to notice sensations. And let's move into some shoulder rolls. So bringing the shoulders forward, up, and then down and back. And let's switch directions. Eventually releasing the shoulders down, releasing the hands back to your lap. Giving yourself a chance, noticing sensations. Let's find a little bit of internal and external rotation for the arms as well. So one arms out wide. Finding or bringing your hands into a position as if you were holding round doorknobs. And then we'll turn the doorknobs forward as far as you feel like you can. And then turning the doorknobs backwards, again, as far as it feels okay to go. Turning the doorknobs forward, this is internal rotation. And turning the doorknobs backwards, external rotation. Maybe moving between these two directions a couple more times. Maybe bringing some awareness into your chest and upper back to notice what happens in each direction when you fully turned. Once more, if it feels okay to continue. And then releasing your hands down to your lap. Finding any shrugging of the shoulders that would feel good, releasing anything that needs releasing. Giving yourself the pause, notice sensation. And let's continue down the body, moving into the spine next. We'll find a twist, but we'll bring the legs into a little bit as well. So let's start either by crossing right knee over left, right thigh over left rather. And then starting to draw the right leg along the knee so that even the shin might land on the knee, or maybe all the way to the ankle lands on the knee. Just creating a little bit of space between the knee and the bottom leg. This is a hip opener. So if you've come all the way towards the ankle, we'll keep the top foot flexed, the right foot flexed, as though your toes are pulling towards your shin. And this might be enough of a sensation already. If you're looking for a little more sensation or this position feels quite good, you might think about sending right knee down towards the floor. If that feels like too much, then you release the knee and it comes back up. So you can play within the range of your own body to see what feels good here. And then once you've got your position, inhale, nice tall spine. As you exhale, we'll walk the hands along the leg and turn the shoulders towards the right. The right hand might come back beside your hip or behind you on the chair or on the backrest of the chair. If it would feel good for the neck, you might look over your right shoulder. Keeping the flex in the right foot. Spending another breath or two here if it feels okay to be here, but knowing you can come out at any point. And then slowly making your way back to center. Optional forward fold in between here if the knee feels okay. Inhaling tall and exhaling to tip the body forward any amount. If this brings too much intensity, bringing the torso back up or letting the knee come up a little higher. One more full breath cycle here. And then making your way back to the tall seat. Unwinding the legs. Bringing both soles of the feet back down to the ground. And noticing sensation in the body. And we'll set up on the other side, starting off by crossing left thigh over right. And we'll start to draw the left knee up and away any amount. So you can land anywhere on your shin, all the way up to where the ankle might sit over the knee. We'll keep the left foot flexed, and the knee can be quite high, or you can think about sending it down towards the floor for more sensation. So deciding what feels right in your body. The side can be quite different as well than the other. Hips tend not to be even. Finding your tall spine. And as you're ready, walking the hands over to the left, turning the shoulders towards the left and finding our twist. Left hand might come back beside your hip or behind you on the chair, or on the backrest of the chair. The gaze might be over your left shoulder if that feels okay for the neck. Two more breaths if it feels okay to be here. And slowly unwinding. If it feels okay, if your knee feels okay and hip feels okay, we'll bring a forward fold to finish off the twist. Inhaling tall and exhaling to tip the torso forward any amount. If this brings too much intensity, either bringing the torso up or bringing the knee up a little higher. Left foot is still flexed. One more full breath cycle. Then slowly making your way back up to seated. Releasing the leg, letting both soles of the feet come down to the mat. Moving into a side bend next. For a side bend today, let's bring hands to hips. Finding that tall spine, using the hands as a reminder to keep the pelvis heavy. Keep breathing. Lengthening the spine. When your next exhale arrives, let's tip over to one side, keeping the pelvis heavy, as though you could stretch your side body away. Then inhaling back to center. And exhaling to tip the other way. Inhaling up. Once more on each side, following your breath. And releasing the hands as you're ready. Let's come up to the hands a little bit, making some circles in the wrists. We'll start with hands open. And switching directions. Then closing the fist and making circles. And switching directions. Shaking out the hands. Releasing the hands back to your lap. We'll move into our arching and rounding of the spine, our cat-cow variation. I'll turn sideways, but you can stay exactly as you are. Setting up the feet so that the feet are pushing into the ground, letting the legs and hips be quite stable. Letting the hands rest on your knees and thighs, and finding that tall spine. Letting the shoulders melt down. Crown of the head is lifted. All the natural curves are there. When your next exhale arrives, we'll push the knees or thighs away, rounding the spine, gently spreading the shoulder blades apart and pulling the belly towards the back of the chair. And with an inhale, we'll draw the shoulder blades together, pulling the chest forward through the upper arms and sending the belly forward a little bit. Gaze might lift. Exhaling to round the spine into cat pose. Inhaling to draw the chest forward into cow. Moving between these two shapes using your breath. Exhaling to round. And inhaling to arch. Exhaling to cat. And inhale to cow. Couple more rounds, letting your breath guide your movement and moving only as deeply as feels good in your body. When you've had enough, making your way back to center, back to that tall spine. And pausing there to notice sensation. Noticing any feelings or anything else that's come up. And then we'll move down into the legs, shifting forward on your seat a little bit so the sit bones come towards the edge of the chair. We'll start with our hip circles. I'll start with my left leg. You can hold wherever feels comfortable, moving the leg in circles. And making your way in the other direction. Eventually coming back towards center, keeping the leg lifted, holding either around the thigh, under the thigh, or around the shin. And let's find some ankle circles. Switching directions when you're ready. And pointing and flexing the foot a few times. Then wherever your clasp on the leg is, holding underneath the thigh, you might already be there. And let's stretch the leg out 3 times. On the 3rd time, we'll hold the leg there. 3rd time, stretching the leg out. Let's point and flex the foot here a couple of times. Then with a flexed foot, how would it feel to tip the toes towards the center? And then tip the toes towards the outside of the room. Moving between these 2 turns. Internal is toes towards the center. External is toes towards the outside of your body. Coming back to center when you're ready. Releasing the bend and releasing the foot down to the floor. Checking in on your posture, tall spine again. And then bringing right knee up towards you. And we'll find our hip circles this side. Switching directions when you're ready. And drawing the knee forward. Holding wherever feels good under your thigh or around the shin. We'll find circles in the ankle on this side. Switching directions when you're ready. Then pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And then holding underneath the thigh, we'll stretch the leg out 3 times. Stretch and bend. And on the 3rd time stretching the leg out, we'll hold the leg, pointing and flexing the foot a couple of times. And then land with a flexed foot. We'll turn the toes towards the middle and then towards the outside. Toes towards middle, internal rotation. Toes towards the outside, external rotation. And making your way back to center, releasing the knee and releasing the foot back down to the ground. Noticing sensations in the legs, the thighs, the hips. Let's move into our sun salutation. So setting up the legs, whether that means that the legs stay parallel and close to the center, sort of hip width distance, or whether it would feel good to have the legs wide. When we come into our forward fold, sometimes it can feel nice to have space for the torso to come through. Or it might feel better to have compression between belly and thighs. So you can decide what works for you today. Setting the feet up, nice and strong, push into the floor. With an inhale, we'll sweep the arms up as high as it feels okay for the shoulder. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. With an inhale, drawing the chest forward, coming into cow pose. Exhaling to round the spine, Halloween cat. Coming back up to a neutral spine. And exhaling to fold forward. With an inhale, we'll sweep right arm up into a twist. Exhaling, right arm down. With an inhale, left arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhaling, left arm down. Coming back to a tall seat, both arms sweep up as high as they feel good going. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. Pausing for a moment, noticing sensations, any warmth or flow of energy, and making any adjustments that would feel good. We'll move through that twice more with your next inhale, sweeping the arms up, either above head or into cactus. Exhaling, hands back to your thighs. Inhaling to cow pose, chest forward. Exhaling to cat. Coming back to a tall seat. And exhaling to fold. With an inhale, right arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhaling, right arm down. Inhaling, left arm up into a twist. Exhaling, left arm down. Coming back to a tall seat, arms sweep up either overhead or into cactus. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. Taking a breath again. And as you're ready, last one, inhale, sweep arms up or into cactus. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. Inhaling to cow pose, chest forward. Exhaling to cat, rounded spine. Inhaling back up to a tall spine. And exhaling to fold forward. With an inhale, we'll sweep right arm up into a twist. Exhaling, right arm down. Inhaling, left arm up into a twist. Exhaling, left arm down. Coming back to a tall seat, arms sweep up or into cactus. Exhaling, hands back to your thighs. Beautiful. Bringing the thigh or feet back towards parallel or hip width distance if they were wider. And let's come all the way up to standing. Coming through chair pose today. So bringing your feet in towards your chair, your heels in a little closer. We'll start to shift the weight into the heels. Hands can be in prayer or on your hips. And we'll attempt to lift the bum just enough that we're hovering over the chair. Keep breathing. Imagine that the sit bones are low, that the heart is high. Keep breathing, knowing you can come out whenever you want. Maybe another full breath cycle. And then slowly coming all the way up to standing. Finding a little wiggle if that feels good or necessary. Let's continue our movement with the thighs, that internal and external rotation, by setting up so that we have access to the backrest of the chair. So we will face the chair, standing far enough back that you have space to lift the knee between you and the chair. Whatever that means for you. Giving yourself as much space as possible while still feeling stable. We'll start by bringing the right knee up towards your body. So wherever that is for you, bringing it with the idea of bringing it in towards your chest. So if that happens, you can bring the leg up, bringing it up as high as possible. We'll hold. Pulling the knee up towards you. Then with the knee lifted, we'll pull the right knee out towards the right. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So this is coming back into our external rotation. Then we'll turn the knee in towards the center, almost as though we're pulling our foot out towards the side. Knee in towards the other knee. This is internal rotation. Then releasing the knee forward, letting the knee come back to a more natural and neutral position. And then we'll start to lift the thigh behind us, or lift the knee behind you. So this amount probably won't be a big, our thigh doesn't go too far behind us. And if it does tend to go back, it's usually because we're going into our low back. So keeping in mind to keep the low back nice and long, and sending the knee back any amount. This can feel like pulling the heel towards your bum as well. Breathing. And then let's release right foot back to the floor. Shaking out anything that feels like it needs a little bit of shake. And we'll move through the other leg. I'll try and change my orientation so you can see what I'm doing a bit. I'm not sure how the view was. Okay. Standing on the right leg this time, left leg, you're bringing the left knee up towards you as high as possible. So squeezing left knee up towards your, however high it goes. Keep breathing. Then we're pulling the left knee out towards the left. Still breathing. Now we're drawing left knee in towards the other knee, internal rotation. Might feel like you're kicking your ankle out to the side. Then for the final direction, you're releasing the knee so that it's facing forward. Your ankle is in a more neutral position. And then pulling the knee back behind you, or feeling as though the heel were moving towards your bum. Keeping lots of space in the low back. You might think about sending your tailbone down towards the ground, or you might think about pulling your hips and front of your pelvis together, low ribs in front of your pelvis together rather. And then release left foot to the floor. Finding any little movement, any counter movement. We're going to do it again. Standing on your left foot, you can either face the floor, or if it feels more comfortable to have just one hand on the chair, that's an option as well. You kind of know where we're headed now. Pulling right knee up towards you as high as you can with no hands. Keep breathing. Then right knee goes out towards the right. external rotation. Moving towards internal rotation, we'll bring right knee in towards the left knee and kick the heel out towards the side. Internal rotation. And releasing the foot back and pulling the heel up towards your bum. We're sending the knee back behind you. And then releasing, right foot back to the floor. Finding any wiggling that would feel good. Other side. Standing on the right. Left foot or left knee comes up towards you as close to your body as you can. Then left knee out towards the left. Keep breathing. Then internal rotation, bringing left knee in towards the right knee. Ankle kicks out to the side. Foot kicks out to the side. Then releasing that side kick. Bringing the heel towards your bum and sending the knee back behind you any amount. Keep breathing. And then release left foot to the floor. Okay, we're going to move through it one more time, but more quickly and maybe with some balance. We'll try with the one hand on your support. The other hand might be out for balance. You know you can always come back to two hands. Standing on the left foot, right foot comes up towards you. Right knee up towards your chest. Then right knee out to the side. You can play with the balance if it feels good to let go. Then bringing right knee in towards the left knee. Foot kicks out to the side, internal rotation. And then heel towards bum, knee heads towards the back of the room, flexion. And then we'll release. Beautiful. Switching sides for your support if you wish. Standing on right foot. Left foot comes up, or left knee comes up towards the chest. Maybe playing with balance. Left knee out to the left. Whoop. Then left knee in towards the right knee. Foot kicks out to the side, internal rotation. Then releasing that rotation, heel towards bum, knee heads towards the back, reflection. And then releasing left foot to the floor, beautiful. Challenge our balance in all different directions this morning. Let's step the feet wide. I don't know why, but goddess always feels good after these balance poses. Turning your feet out to the corners of your mat or out to the, pointing outward a little bit. Hand can be on the chair for support, or you could bring hands into prayer or hands on your hips. And we'll bend into the knees any amount. This can be a subtle bend or a deeper bend, depending on how your body feels this morning. Breathing here. Let's breathe with movement, inhaling to straighten the legs. Exhaling to bend the knees. Inhaling to straighten. Moving with your breath if my count isn't working with your breath. Inhaling to straighten. And exhaling to bend. But stay with bent knees for one full cycle. Then releasing the legs, releasing the hands, bringing the feet back together. Finding any little movement that just feels good. If it would feel good, maybe to interlace the hands if that works in your body this morning. Sending the palms away and maybe up overhead. If the interlaced fingers doesn't feel good, the hands can always be wide as well. Then how would it feel to take a side bend? And up through center. And bending the other way. Up through center. Releasing the hands if they were clasped and interlacing the other way, whichever way feels a little less natural. Same thing. Hands can be wide or feet or fingers interlaced. I was going to say feet interlaced. Inhaling back up. Difficult to interlace your feet, I think. Inhaling up. One more stretch up towards the sky, feet heavy, fingertips reaching. And then releasing hands. Making your way back. Making any movements that feel good. Before we come to seated, if there are any last things that would feel good in your body before we come back to the chair, finding those things, honoring what your body's asking for. And then making your way back to seated. Preparing to close practice, we'll find our tall seat again. Letting the sit bones rest down. Finding that sense of the spine elongating or stretching. Spending a few moments noticing your breath. Maybe allowing the forehead to soften. Allowing the jaw to soften. Shoulders to melt down. And the belly to soften. Your hands can stay where they are, or maybe bring hands over heart. Or hands in prayer. Bringing to mind something that brings you gratitude. Lots of gratitude, a big, big, big feeling of gratitude. And with that feeling of gratitude that you hold for this person or situation, turn the feeling of gratitude in towards yourself. Thank yourself for making the time to practice today, for honoring your body and breath. With gratitude for allowing me to guide you through the practice today. And with gratitude to all the students and teachers who have come before us, passing down this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace.